good to have everybody back together.
Indeed. Let's see, and we got the live stream going here. Give it half a second. Hopefully, it's going to work. Yeah, there we go. I had updated the software that I use for the live stream, and it was having difficulty pulling stuff up and everything else. Like anything else, when you update something, it
Oh yeah,
invariably always does something questionable. So
yeah,
we seem
yeah.
to be
But
all right now. I think people can see us. I think people can hear us, and maybe we'll get a couple of our regular subscribers will write notes of encouragement, letting us know that the word is
all is
actually
well.
getting out. Exactly.
Good,
That it's
good.
not
Yeah.
just broadcasting into a hole into space. So,
Many of my company's customers won't do software upgrades on their network after December 1st because they're like, just just we're not going to change anything in the network because we all want to go on holiday.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We just don't need the network to blow up, so we just don't touch it for the month of December. I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, this thing had been pestering me to do an update for like a month or more now. So I was
Oh
finally like,
yeah,
okay, probably needs to get done. So,
makes
so at
sense.
least for the moment, all is well, and it
Very good.
seems to be working. So there you have it.
So it appears we're at the top of the 1220 turn.
That is
Three turns
correct.
left.
That's right.
And if somebody, finds that Oppenheimer plutonium implosion bomb that's somewhere on the field, when we get that special result, well, then that's when we know the game ends.
There you go. Did you see Oppenheimer?
I did not see it.
Okay.
Goodness knows there's been no shortage of talk about it
I
in the
thought
media,
for
but no.
sure you've seen the Barbie movie then, Michael, right?
No, actually, I made the decision that I was going to sit that one out.
You were going to sit that one out. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I went and saw the Indiana Jones movie with a bunch of old friends from high school who
Okay,
we'd
how'd
gone
that
and
go?
seen the original one when it first came out there in the late
Oh, wow.
70s, whatever it was. So we're like, well, we
Yeah.
got to get together. We'll go see this one. And, it was fun, but, there wasn't much plot. It just seemed one chase scene after another, after another, after another. So
Yeah.
by the
Well,
time you
it's
were done, you're
tough
like,
to.
I'm exhausted.
I mean, it's how do you catch lightning in a bottle, right? I mean, it was so good, the first one,
Yeah, yeah.
that it was probably a fool's errand to even try making any other ones. But whatever. All right. Well, let's see where we are. We are. We got 1 hour left. We've got.
We got lots of death and destruction to dispense.
We do.
And I've got
And
at least, half a dozen 07s to roll. So that way David can get all of his
he
guys
can
recovered.
he
Every
can rally
single, he can
several
rally
times.
people 5, 6, 7, 10 times. So,
All right then. Well
yeah,
then, I
yeah.
don't think
And,
there's anything holding us back then. I
nope,
think it's
nope.
just time to click and go.
Yep. Go
So,
ahead,
all
Michael.
right. All right, let's see what zero I can throw out there. What?
75.
What?
Okay.
What?
What? You're advancing the clock
Oh,
already.
well, yeah, we are advancing the clock. Thank you for that. I'm trying to remember the current
We have a
year
plus one.
initiative delta.
It's a.
Are we back to that?
Oh, no, no. Was it just for that turn or is it for the whole hour since he
It's for the
used his
hour.
thing? Oh,
For the
okay.
hour, you're +2.
So we're plus two then. So it's definitely ours.
Okay. All right. All right. Just wanted to be sure.
Yep.
Okay. So, um, you've got lots of chaos and madness and mayhem going on down south. Um, I can do stuff up north, but I don't know if it's as urgent, to be honest with you. Um, I, I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I would definitely take an activation, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's the most important one. I don't know how vulnerable you feel down there in terms of how your guys are situated.
Well, let's see. How they are situated. That is a very good question. I would
I mean,
say that they
suppose
are
he gets an activation before you do. In other
right.
words, you got somebody who's in grave peril because of the way things are currently arranged.
Right. That's pretty much all of what's left of my heavy cavalry is in
You
great
think all
peril.
of them are in peril? Okay.
Yeah,
That's,
big, great, huge chunks of them are.
mhm.
So yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure whether like moving them is good or trying to get my grenadiers down there to help them out is better
nah,
or
that'll take
what.
too long.
Yeah. So um, let's see.
So yeah, I mean, if you're feeling concerned about that, then yeah, by all means, carry on.
Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll probably see if I can activate this poor sod here, crotch, crotch cow. I'm sure I'm going to butcher his name. That croc,
Krakow.
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 There we go. That sounds more like it.
Hmm.
So everyone's in command except this guy back here. Um,
Okay. Uh,
and yeah, so what I want to try to do is, um,
well, I mean, I guess roll to put him in command,
yep,
just in
here
case.
we go. Just a one die roll, correct?
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
as
that's
in command
very in
as humanly
command. He is
possible.
so in command.
He is
Yeah.
so much in command.
Alrighty then.
It's almost amusing how in command he is.
Hmm.
So if I were to move him backwards, like he's in a bit
Yep.
of a spot where he is right now, if I were to move him back, that could what potentially trigger some opportunity charges or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely imagine there'd be two opportunity charges that would potentially be coming at you.
So what is a better option? Is there any better option other than trying to move him back some way?
Um. Uh. Well.
I mean, if I were to move him here, would that trigger? I mean, this guy could do something, I guess, but could this other guy do something? I don't know.
That's a good question, and I think we kind of had a little conversation about this last time, but that's been 2 weeks and I've slept. Um, so what triggers? I think what we're gonna, I think what we determined last time
Mm-hmm.
is that it is triggered when someone enters or changes facing in
In
some
that
place
two
two
hex
hexes in
zone,
front of you.
right?
Um,
So
and
if I
and
right,
if all you did was move out, then you would definitely the upper guy would definitely be able to
right,
op charge you, but the lower guy wouldn't because you'd be backing out of the zone that he could do an op charge in.
right, right.
At least that's kind of how I would take that.
Okay.
All right, so it says the conditions that trigger opportunity fire also trigger opportunity charge.
Right, 12.8 C and D. Boop boop ba doop doop. Wait a minute. Oh, 12.8 C and D. I was in the wrong section. It is triggered when an active unit, this is the very top of page 23, the right column. It is triggered when an active unit changes facing or formation or exits a hex within the reactive unit's infantry fire range and or artillery minimum fire range. Changes to and from general order, although involuntary, still trigger opportunity fire. Of course, obviously, that definition can't quite be used exactly because obviously it's talking about fire ranges.
Right.
Um, but it's the kinds of things that it's talking about. I felt like we looked
Yeah, I think I
Last
can
week,
do
somewhere
it.
in
Yeah,
17.
it's up to.
But when an active unit performs any type of movement, formation, and or facing change within 2 hexes of a reactive cavalry unit. Any type of movement, formation change, or facing change within 2. Op charge is not mandatory. The only trouble is I'm sitting here thinking, the procedure says that the op charging unit moves forward 1 hex. Well, but if he did, he wouldn't actually make contact with you.
But what it was it.
Yeah, no, I think it's if I'm moving back here, right, then only this guy could potentially do anything. If I were moving here,
I don't.
then, or is it a case where neither of them does?
Well, no, I have no question that the Lowenstein Cuirassier B
Right.
could. I
Okay.
mean, there's no question that they could. The only question is can this other guy? And I'm just struggling. Procedure. If there's an intervening hex between the active unit and the reactive cavalry must move 1 hex forward. Hexes entered must be unoccupied. It's really frustrating because I feel like the answer should be very clear, and I don't feel like I'm finding it.
If it was the other way around, if when you enter, let's say you're going from out of it and entering into it, you're
Yeah,
2 hexes
absolutely.
away.
Right. If
then
I were here,
I
moving
move
here,
1
then
hex
yeah,
forward. Yeah.
yeah.
If he's already in there was a rule. If he's already in 2 hexes and he moves forward, how did that one work? Where do they meet? Do they meet with him in the original hex or within the new one he moves into?
Well, that's part of. I guess that's part of the problem. Is the op charge happening? See, that's the thing. When does the op charge happen? Does the op charge happen after the movement? Because if it does, then I would argue that big stack further south couldn't possibly, because you're too far away. If it happens before the movement, well then yes, he could op charge. Like, in other words, simply declaring that you're going to move prompts the op charge. I just don't know exactly what the rule is. I can't quite put my finger on a rule that actually says what the order is. That the way it's written would seem to suggest that it's after, because you have to do it.
Right, you have to do the movement in order to trigger the charge.
Seems like, because obviously if merely declaring that you're going to move is sufficient, then it's almost like the op charge happened. They had to do something before you did anything, which doesn't seem reasonable. So I don't know. I would absolutely feel okay scrounging around through the primer and maybe asking on Consim World. It feels wrong to me somehow that they would get to move before the actual active unit, though, which is effectively what that would be. So it feels like if he moved northeast, this guy could follow him, and op charge him, and it feels like this guy could not, because he's now
he's out of his zone.
He'd have to move 2 hexes to get there, and he's moved out of the zone. It just feels more likely to me, but I'm a little frustrated that I feel like it's too hard for me.
All right, so I'm moving back for what it's worth.
right.
Are you going to opportunity charge or not?
I'm actually looking to see if it's covered at all in the primer.
One,
Oh,
two,
well, that'd be
three.
lovely if you could find it. Oh, speaking of which, where is mine? I thought it was in the stack with all this other stuff, but it's not.
Here's what seize an opportunity and otherwise disrupt the moving unit of any type. All right, attacker designated for first step. Attacker determines if I had a. Oh.
Do, do, do.
Okay, opportunity charge does not take place during actual combat segments. It's a cavalry version of opportunity fire. It does not have a takes place when the opponent is moving and the non-moving sees an opportunity. Opportunity charge can create many unusual situations involving moving and non-moving units.
Well, they hit the nail on the head with that one.
Well,
This is an
I'm just going to read this one paragraph because I can't find anything that contradicts it. It's 17.2, the 17.2a, the op charge procedure on page 33.
Mm-hmm.
The charging unit performs a morale check H, and if it passes, charge movement, just like counter charge movement, and close combat resolution are performed. If the unit that triggered the charge is adjacent to the charging unit, then no movement is required. If there is an intervening hex between the active unit and the reactive cavalry, the cavalry must move one hex forward. No facing or formation changes or stack splits are permitted. The hexes entered must be unoccupied. If the charging unit fails the morale check, it is shaken and cannot charge. And nowhere in there do they give any allowance for the possibility that the object of this charge is more than one hex away.
Yeah, it's basically stuff that's moving in or within that 2 hex zone, I guess, right?
It seems like.
Yeah.
It's just because it's reaction.
Right.
It's got to be fast, which means you have to be close.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd never get there.
Right. So this guy can try to do it as I move into that hex there, which is within 2 of him.
Yes.
And
well, okay, you moved back and changed facing.
Well, he basically did all of his movement.
yeah, I did my movement while you were figuring it out. So
granted that he'd still be facing west if you chose to op charge.
Or it depends on when you decide to op charge me.
Well, that's true, actually. Because you could op charge him either time. Either as he backs away from you or as he changes facing 2 hexes away from you. Either one.
Yeah.
I don't know any reason to wait, but... I don't know. He's got a +2 leader there. It's 1-to-1 odds.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not.
Yeah,
But
doesn't seem...
It is curious what.
It is, and it's just, I feel like just the tiniest bit of clarification might have been helpful. If your mental picture is that people are closing, then it's very clear. But what you guys are doing doesn't seem all that unreasonable. So, and yet it keeps coming up. So, all right, carry on. So
All right,
that was
I'm
it.
done.
You've done everything. You flipped over your leader. Job done. And
Yep.
why don't you go ahead and roll for the next one? Let's see that 07.
Oh,
That's
we
not
were
a
so
07,
close.
sir.
It's a 3-0. It's probably even
Yes,
worse for us. Who got killed?
Probably.
Who got shot? Who
No,
got?
no, that'd be a 1-0. So
Oh, this is hidden
3-0
pawns.
is
It's
hidden
even worse.
pawns. Okay, could be, yeah, could be, yeah. So yeah, so I believe that the way this one plays out is that you, David, select an infantry command of ours, don't you? Isn't that how that works?
I thought that's what it was. And he gets to pick who, and then whoever it is gets to stumble
Right.
around through the pawns,
Right.
getting soggy.
Anybody in that command who's on elevation levels 1 through 3, which is, I mean, who are we kidding? Probably nearly everybody. Actually, not so much. Some of the guys. Oh no. Well, okay. Now wait a minute. It is level 3 the level that's got 3 surrounding it? It probably is. In other words, like all the Austrian grenadiers are at level 3, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. The Austrian grenadiers, a lot of them are at 4. Some of them are at 3.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Okay. All right. So basically, all the Prussian infantry would be subject to this because I think everybody's at. Well, I take that back. A couple of these guys way up in the north. Up here are at 4, but otherwise I think everybody is at 3. So, and it doesn't matter because all they have to do is walk into some space that's 3, and they'd be subject to it. So,
And what's the
All
effect
terrain.
is-
So all clear terrain costs are
are
doubled
doubled.
on
and
levels
in
1 through 3.
addition,
Yeah. And the
There's
affected
a
units.
mandatory disorder check,
Yep.
and you can't rapid march, and you can't use your 2-hex fire range, presumably because you're trying to get the battalion guns to come along. Any artillery units within the command range of the leader of the command that was chosen are marked as finished. I'm not telling you that that's something you should think about, but maybe it is. I don't know. It's a way to silence some batteries, I guess.
and does it apply to cavalry too?
No,
It's just
no,
infantry.
it's just an infantry command.
Okay. Okay. Infantry makes them double. And what's that about the artillery?
Any artillery within the command range of the activated leader is marked as finished. Presumably stuck in the carp ponds. I don't know that really does a whole lot. None of our artillery is in a particularly menacing location from your perspective, but
Well, I'm gonna pick. I guess so. Like if I pick this guy there on the road.
sorry, more guidance. Who are we talking about?
He's on the Kaiserstrasse.
Yep, on the Kaiserstrasse, yes. Who's that? Schoning? Yep.
So it would double his any movement costs, and it would these two would then become finished, right?
1, 2, 3, 4 looks like it, and I think that would be the only artillery that's in his range. But yes, that looks to be the case. And Shawning is this. Um, is he the battalion that goes on forever?
He's a decent
Oh,
sized
yeah.
battalion last
He's
I checked.
he's back this far anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, reasonable size. So okay.
I think I'll pick that one. I don't like
Okay.
I don't like those two 12-pounders sitting right there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's perfectly fine. So we're gonna mark those as finished straight away. And otherwise, then it just becomes a normal activation. Terrain costs for clear hexes on elevation levels 1 through 3 are doubled. Okay, and in addition, every clear hex is considered an affecting terrain for movement actions disorder check. So what does that mean? That means if you move both in and out for series rule 8-7. In other words, just moving in isn't enough. It's just like woods.
Right.
Moving into the woods isn't enough. You got to move in and out or cross the river or whatever. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I don't imagine there's any disorder I need to worry about, so I don't think I'll worry about any of that. I guess what I will do is I will then just do some marching, and I will do marching like how? One, 2, 3, 4. So I will have to roll a disorder check on that. And that'll be +5 for moving through one affected hex. Don't think I'm going to need to look that one up. Interestingly, as long as I stay on the road, I'm not affected by the clear terrain, because I'm not in clear terrain if I'm in road column on a road. But kind of that would defeat the purpose, since the whole point of this is to get out of road column. So
Also
how about
into my calculation there, just to make it a little harder to get those guys all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was a pretty reasonable choice there. So if I did,
Just remember, I'm expecting my kickback, David, for these rolls.
Yes,
try
All
it.
these pro Austrian rolls.
I'll try and
just like
kick your something.
now we see.
kick my backside. That's what I'm worried about there. Yes.
That's his cunning plan. Yeah. Okay. So it's going to cost me 1 to come out a road. Boy, there ain't nothing good here. And I don't really want to be in column anywhere near your guns.
Oh, I'm providing a much better target for his guns right now.
Oh, I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
If they know it's good for them, that juicy target in the distance probably won't be compelling. So yeah, a good point. Thank you for clarifying what I should
Hey,
have been able to figure out myself.
I'm a team player
Okay.
here, Michael.
Oh, there is no Eric in team. All right. That's 2/3 he just moved, and then coming out of road that makes 1 and 2/3, and then forming into line is 2 and 2/3, and then he'll just stop. And then I guess I will do. Let's see. That would be 1 he's doing, and then coming out of road makes that 2. And 3, 4. I can face him forward. Yeah, I guess I will. Like that. And then I guess there's just a couple more back there. And that's going to be 1 1 1/3. That'll be 2 1/3. And I'll just leave him in column. That's going to be 1 1 2/3. And then removing that will be 2 2/3. And I'll just leave it like that. And I'm going to say that's probably it. Comme ça.
Well, isn't
so
this
it's
guy
over to
part
David.
of? Isn't this guy part of
I'm
his
sorry.
command too?
I thought I had already reached back to the artillery.
Nope.
Oh no! I'm sorry. The artillery is further back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got two
Never
more
mind.
guys
Thank
to
you very
bring up.
much.
Yep.
That's 1. That's 2. And that'll be 1 2 2 1/3, 3 1/3. And that should do it then. Because everybody else after that's the artillery who would not have been organized with those guys. So, there we go.
All right, let me roll again, see if I can come up with something equally
yes,
brilliant.
Quite so.
Well, here we've
That's
just gotten
gonna be a
reverse of what we
tie.
had before, 57.
Tie and an end turn marker. So, all
Here
right.
we go again. 23, that's 1 for us.
That is 1 for us. It is, yeah. All right. And what are you thinking now that you've got some of your guys repositioned?
Yeah, now I can try to get my cavalry sorted out here so they can get in some sort of semblance of order for attacking.
You mean your light cav? Is that
Light
what you
cavalry, yeah.
mean? Yeah, okay.
So, let's see. Bup, 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 bup. So let's go ahead and we will activate or try to activate Stetchow here.
Okay, yes.
Here we roll for him, also a 0. So he's quite content with his role in life.
Indeed.
And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think everybody, everybody of his is currently in command. These guys are disordered, so I need to roll for them.
Yep.
And I don't know that there's anybody else that's disordered, so let's go ahead and roll for them. 0, 4. Is that a
not
special
going to take them
thing?
out of disorder.
Oh, no.
No, because a disorder recovery doesn't have any special results.
Oh,
with his
okay.
rally.
All right, well, that's par for the course.
Excellent.
So, all right.
Who's the commander that's...
This guy here,
here.
Stetchow. Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's take
I
a
don't know
look
if
a
you've
little
had an
bit.
upper respiratory infection. Maybe you could really get some phlegm up by saying "Stachau."
Stetchow, indeed.
Just a suggestion.
Yep. Well, I'm sure I could for what it's worth. Be a little messy, though.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have to kind of organize ourselves in some semblance here.
A little bit.
Yep. So what's going to be good? Well, we got a lot of people here. We can make ourselves a bit of a line.
Yeah, and you could, just make the disordered unit. Of course, you can only move half, so just put him in a backup position where he's not vulnerable.
Yep. And this guy can go 1, 2, and then he can turn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can get there.
Yeah.
These guys here can turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can then get themselves there.
Yep.
And then this guy can come up 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. All right. I think we have something that is approaching.
Something resembling anything?
Something resembling something.
Okay. Well, that's brilliant.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay. And then those guys will just have to. Maybe I will move the leader to be stacked with them so that
Yeah,
next turn
yeah,
they
that's a
will.
fine idea.
We
Just so
don't
your
have
die
to
rolling doesn't
mess around with it. Yep.
screw you up again. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Seems legit to me.
All right. That is the extent of that particular little one. So now it goes for David to roll.
All right.
36.
That is one for David.
That is one for David.
We'll see what his cunning plan is.
Oh,
So cunning that he hasn't thought of it yet.
let's see. Checking on something with the marsh. How that actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a little weird. If memory serves, it's like prohibited for special cavalry movement, but you can move through it.
Where's the way? Where's the marsh? Big marsh. Marsh.
All right.
Oh, let's see. Okay.
Where are you going to go, Dave? Which of your exciting commands?
Let's see. There. Half to one.
You gonna start the 10-minute timer now, Eric?
Yeah.
Something like that. This is why, for all the
Love-a-tie humor for a friend's home.
exactly. There's a reason why that 10-minute clock is. It does focus your mind. Nothing quite focuses your mind like that. Yeah.
And
it's really, I mean, it's terrifically stressful when you're new.
Mm-hmm.
right.
You know.
And the other thing, I need to step away for a minute. So
By all means,
I'm
Okay.
sorry about that, but
No worries.
you can be safely assured that Eric and I will amuse the folk at home.
Oh,
And
yes.
I do mean folk, not folks, because I'm not sure if there is more than one.
And we
right now.
have at least a couple of people watching.
Do we?
So
Splendid.
we do
Right.
at any moment in time.
So I got to tell you, all this time, Consim World Expo has been a long way away.
Yeah, well,
And then all of a sudden, I
it's
realized it's like 4 weeks away now.
yeah. So what have you figured out? I saw you down for like a bar game, but I didn't see anybody had signed up yet.
Well, and I am engaged in an email dialogue with somebody that we've kind of tentatively like, well, maybe a battle at Chatuzits. Not a big monster because I've got enough games scheduled now that I probably could really only afford a couple of days. Probably could get through Chatuzits in a couple of days.
So what's your schedule look like then?
Well, I've got lots of games with, Jim McFetridge from that Salerno to Rome game
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
played in years past. We've also we've got a Pendragon game. There's another guy, Rich, who's going to join Constant World for the very first time, but Jim and I know him and have played with him before. So we're going to do some stuff. We're going to play Second Fleet, the old Victory
Oh
Games
my
title.
God, yeah, that's a classic.
Rich wants to play Salerno 43. That one you can get through it pretty fast. The Mark Simonich title from a couple of years ago.
Right.
What? We've got a Pendragon game. I mean, it's a. What else are you gonna do if you got 8 hours to kill? Right? You play a game of Pendragon, right?
I guess so.
I'm trying to think. What else do we have scheduled? We had a few games scheduled. Most of which would be a day. Or,
Right.
And so I'm thinking I can probably rearrange
Okay.
the schedule and get a 2-day block if this guy, if we can make our schedules work out. But Chatuzits is fun. David knows that. So,
Yes, I'm back. So
All right.
pretty bite sizable. So I think it would be a reasonable one to do. So what do you
all
think
right.
now?
Let's see now. Okay, now I can think a little straighter. So
His teeth must have been floating.
Indeed,
that's yeah.
that will distract.
all right. So do I do something like that? Or do I? Boy, I got so many areas that demand
I know.
attention here.
I know.
Do I ignore them and and hope for the best?
And hope the dice are nice. Yeah. Yeah, and in fairness to you, obviously you are managing the entire Austrian side. You've got twice as much to think about as either of us. So.
So if I do that,
You know what I probably should have done for Consim World?
What's that?
I probably should have gotten somebody to pretty please show me how the Levian campaign system works. It's a system that started with Nevsky, and then Almoravid, and then Infidel from, or Inferno, not Infidel, Inferno.
Right.
And I guess there's another one about to come out, Plantagenet, and about the Wars of the Roses, I think. And it's a fascinating system because it's as much about the levy, in other words, building and maintaining your force, as it is about the campaign, the actual doing something with your army. And of course, since they're all set in medieval era, logistics are, to put it mildly, primitive.
Right.
And I don't know what it is about the game system. Well, of course, it's Volko created the game system, so I'm sure it's genius. But for the life of me, reading the rules does not immediately lead me to, yes, let's sit down and play. I just think it's one of those ones, if someone shows me, I'll go, oh, that's what the rules meant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd
Kinda
heard
how
good
you
things.
feel about Bar.
Yeah, I'd heard good things about that game system. My friend Robert wanted to try to play the one that's, I guess, what, in Spain, or
Yeah,
Almoravid. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just saying it how it seems like to me. Yeah, I don't know. I admire. Well, first of all, I admire Volko's creativity. It's always really impressive. But I also just kind of admire just a really different take right? You can do,
Right.
Richard Berg has got that medieval battle game, which is, fine, right? It's a battle game, but I mean, we've got lots of battle games. Heck, we're playing a battle game.
Right.
So a campaign game of medieval logistics. I don't know, it just sounds fun to me. But
There you go.
says a lot about me.
All right. Any progress
All
yet,
right.
David?
Yeah. Well, no, not.
We starting at the north. We starting
Yeah.
at the south. We starting in the
Or
middle.
in the middle. Maybe I'm. All right.
Only
So
electrons die today.
only electrons die, which is good, but a lot of my electrons might be dying.
Yes, fair. Yeah.
This is the problem. Um, so, what? So, all right. So, facing changes will trigger opportunity fire, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. And kind of a lot of it, actually. No matter which one you're talking about.
Right. See, boy, decisions. Fortunately, I got some guys kind of not optimally placed for activating.
You mean like the leaders in
No, like
inconveniently placed, or
no, like uh, units kind of intermixed.
oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
I do know you got that one problem in one place, which is not great.
Trying to figure out.
If you're thinking about trying to seal your left flank there south of the pond,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
yeah, and boy, it's tough because unfortunately that unit behind is tiny. It's only got 4 increments left, so that doesn't buy you much to seal up the hole,
Right.
which is frustrating. And you really can't really afford to turn because that's 2 hexes are going to blast at you.
Yeah.
That's a bad situation. And unfortunately, and it feels very strange to me that
And
you've got no secondary line anywhere.
This is when Peroni would have been better used over here, maybe.
Well, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, to be fair, I guess Peroni's stretching me out a little, but only a little. But I don't know. Remember the story of the battle, right? Brown realizes that Frederick's going around, so Brown grabs up a bunch of troops and faces them east. But of course, a lot of the Austrian army is still facing north, and maybe that's the problem, that
Right.
they didn't have the whole army. If the whole army was there probably would be 2 sets of ranks.
Yeah.
right.
But as it is, you really just don't have any reserves, which is not great.
Yep.
One,
And
2. The slopes are shit. The slopes are +1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's not great, but
I mean, I guess that's what I will go for him. I will.
Vide or who's the other one?
ST.
St.
Uh,
Stolberg.
I think he's
Stolberg.
here.
No, Stolberg is here. Right? And this
Yeah.
is Veed's, and
Oh,
Veed's
that must
replacement
be
is over here.
Vide's replacement
Yeah.
is over there. I'm sorry, I had him backwards. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to flip that guy over because there we go.
And so I'll do Stolberg. Let's see, and
Stolberg. Okay. Yep.
and
Presumably,
I think he's in range of everything. So there's
Of
gonna
his
take 1, 2,
leader,
3,
1, 2,
4,
3,
5,
4, 5,
6,
6 looks pretty good
and
there.
he's
I don't know
in. I have
where
1, 2,
Brown
3,
is.
4,
2,
5,
4, 6, 8, 10. Yep, looks like he's in range from
All right.
from Brown. So I think you're good.
Yeah. And I will activate the artillery. Actually, let's activate all the artillery down here,
Where's down here? I'm sorry.
or up here, or whatever. But here.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. All three of those hexes, you mean? Or okay. Yep. Yep.
Um. So that, and I'm also going to activate the 12-pounder at the other end of the line.
Way down south. Okay. Yep. That makes
Okay.
makes good sense. Why not? So
So first, any disorders, right? I don't think I have any disorder to worry about there.
Stolberg himself doesn't seem to have any.
Nope. It looks like he's all
And
clear.
so now it's fire.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So the infantry here and half the infantry there can fire there, right?
They would be if you were activating them, but they're V'd.
Yeah, those guys are.
Oh, those guys. That's what I mean. Okay, so this one.
Yeah.
Just
yes.
the infantry here is,
Just the infantry there, right?
and that's
that would
probably
be
not enough.
well, and only two of them can fire because the artillery is
Oh,
stacked on top of them. So it'd only be 2 fire factors.
And do they get a plus for being in the?
I'm not sure if they do or if just the guns do. +5 would be
That's
not much, but it would be something.
oh, it just says it's artillery. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yep, yep, it sure does. Okay.
All right. So, even worth it. Is that 2 against 10, 1 to 5? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think that still gets rolled on 1 to 3, but you need to roll a special result and get lucky with the special result.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't much there.
Well, it's 2, and those are Fusiliers.
Oh, well, of course, if you got a big target.
Yeah, the Fusiliers. That's. Yeah,
But if you got a big target, you get a plus modification.
Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4. It's 4 to 10, right?
Oh, they're ×2, are they?
Yeah. Or yeah.
2 hex range. Oh,
At 2
very
hex
nice.
range.
All right, so it's 1
4
to 3.
10. 1 to 3.
But you, depending on which hex you choose to fire at, you could get a plus modifier big enough to actually give you a fighting chance.
All right. And so I would fire at this one because that's the bigger.
Yeah. So what is that? 4 + 6 is 10.
10.
And so 10 would get you +15? No, +10. All right. So basically you're looking for a 90 or more.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
And now the gun's there, so that's a 6-pounder at 2 hex range. That's ×7, so that's 14 to 10. Just done.
Okay. So 14 to 10, going to be
1
to 1 plus 10.
Plus 10, so it's yeah. Well, plus 10 for your size, right?
Oh, that's right. And then plus another 10
for the slope and for behind the thing.
Yep. All right. So that's +20 all day. So you're
1
looking
to
for
1
50 or more.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
now.
that's a big roll.
Hey, now. Okay, so
Could have used that on the last one. But yeah,
it stops at 110, so that's 3. And a morale check with a +10 to the morale check. So it all comes off the top unit.
Ouch.
So that's a bunch. Yeah. So if I look at that top unit, he's now half
dead, right? Yeah.
It's fire combat result, so being half dead matters. Being a supported line matters. So those two cancel out effectively. The fact he's in a supported line makes up for the fact he's half dead, but he still gets the +10 from the just from the fire combat intensity. And so we will roll and see what we get there. And that's a special result.
Zero
Very
one.
special result. So fire combat result 0-1. If the unit is in an EZOC, it is shaken and disordered, and it certainly is in an EZOC. So you just never know what's going to happen.
There you go.
Okay,
Certainly
let's,
improve the odds for Veed's boys right there.
right. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's shoot the 6-pounder or
Yep.
the howitzer, 7-pound
The howitzers, right?
howitzer.
Yep.
And they are, what are they shooting at? So what's the biggest thing? I guess that one with this one's the biggest one, right?
Yes, and probably the other thing you should at least consider is that one hex is the only hex that these two could fire at together, because you're at 3 hex range or less, and that's the only hex that's in both of the firing arcs at 3 hexes or less.
All right, well, let's see if that would help me.
I think
so
for a lot of reasons, that's probably where I would do it.
So the howitzers are times
7.
3, and the
Howitzers times 3. So 6 plus the 6-pounders times 7, so that's 20.
Okay.
So we're like at 2-1.
Yep, and the size is 5 plus 4 is 9. So I think that gives you a +10. So 2-1 plus 10. Are they both behind Fieldworks? They're not.
No, they're not.
Well, let's see. So it seems like the one behind the Fieldworks does get a +10. Seems like he would.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry. Yes, because of the elevation difference and because of being behind the Fieldworks, seems like he should get a +10. The other one, same thing, should get a +5 anyway.
Right.
So I don't know if you want
to. But the difference would be 7.5. So.
Yeah. So I would even say go ahead and round it up, because the 6-pounders contributing more than the howitzers are. So what the hell?
All right. So what have we
so
got?
I think that's 2-1 plus 18 is what we just came up with, due to size and due to elevation and Fieldworks.
All right. 2-1 plus 18. Let's see. 18. So it's 63.
63
2 to 1.
2 to 1. It's going to be 1 increment. And it was an odd number, so it looks like it's just 1. And it'll go to the infantry. And no need for a morale check this time.
Correct.
So there we go.
All right. And now, while we're still doing fire, I'll do the 12-pounder at the other end of the line.
Yeah, good thinking, right?
My target will be this grenadier over here. That.
Okay, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
12.
8, 12.
12 on the.
So
times
you're
4.
times 4, so you have 8 to 10.
1 to 1.5. And he is +5 plus 10 plus 15.
Yeah, it's going to be +15. 10 for the elevation and 5 for the Fieldworks.
Bam. All right. So 69.
69 is not going to do it at 1 to 1.5.
Don't think so. All right. So
Nope.
those guys have fired. So we can. Cam is finished. And then I'm in movement. Okay, so we'll take this guy right here. He is ST, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
he is.
All right, so he is going to do that. So you get a half shot at him from your.
Get a half shot at him, so that's going to be 2 times 2, I guess. Because they're not. Well, yeah, they're musketeers or fusiliers. Doesn't matter. So it's going to be it's going to be 1 to 3. There's not a whole lot there. Plus, nah, just 1 to 3. Well, fine. Boom. Hate to waste a good roll on that. Oh, actually, was that a waste of a good roll?
1 to 3,
It's
91.
enough for a disorder check.
Oh,
91
yes, it
and
is.
1 to 3 on
Yeah.
for op fire. So
Yeah.
got me something.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I should be good with that. 31. Yeah. He's. All right. Do I want to move forward one? It's
I
still a
would
1 to
have-
3, right?
Yeah, it's still
Oh,
the same
yeah,
thing
in
as
fact,
you
it would
were
be
saying,
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
The I would not have suggested it, but the fact that other hex of mine has gone shaken disordered,
Right. You would
means
have
that
to attack both hexes.
I would have to attack both stacks. So that makes it more believable that it might not be a bad idea.
Right. And
Which is quite the same as saying it's a good idea.
right.
yeah.
I kind of agree with that. So.
Okay.
There you go.
So I'm going to move. You can get another shot there.
Let's see if I can throw another 90 something. I don't.
Okay. And I think that brings this guy to a conclusion. All right.
All right, it's your roll, Michael.
Magnificent. Whoa. I must want this turn to go on forever.
That's
21.
one for us.
Yes, it is one for us.
All right.
And boy,
I don't have
okay.
anything desperate that needs to happen. So
okay, so you've kind of solidified things. Well,
Yeah.
let me just go ahead since Stoll has already moved. I think I'd like to. I think I'd like to do one.
Okay.
I think I would, and I'm trying to decide. If I want to do Kleist, or if I want to do the guys up north. Since Vide hasn't moved yet, or hasn't activated yet, yeah, maybe I'd like to do Kleist. For a variety of reasons, I guess. So, Kleist, for everyone remembering,
Okay.
is the commander near Kaj.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yep. He's in command because he's within reach of Leshtvitz, who's within reach of the king. And so we will start just by validating that these idiots back here. Excuse me.
What happened?
Undo. That was just undo needing to be
Oh.
done there. That these routed idiots and these idiots on the causeway are, of course, out of command. The rest of his guys are in command, though, and the rest of his command is all these guys here. So then we'll do disorder recovery next.
Mm-hmm.
And disorder recovery we need to do right there. I'm gonna just double check because disorder recovery really doesn't have very many modifiers. However, one of them is if you're in an EZOC. So instead of the usual +5, it's going to be +15 this time for these guys. So we'll go ahead and try that again. Wow, with authority. It's about as bad as you can roll without getting a special result.
Yeah.
So let's just say that's not happening. Okay, fair enough. So then we'll go to fire combat. And fire combat, we will include these two guys fire in here, and so 4 increments can fire from here, 2 increments can fire from here. And by the way, I only recently kind of reread the rules and figured out that that's what it says. It doesn't say you fire at half strength. It says half as many increments can fire. Oh, well, it says strength points because, of course, the rules don't talk about increments. They talk about strength points. But
Right.
anyway, it's subtly different, especially if you've got a mixed stack of artillery and infantry. Because if the artillery's on top, only it can fire.
Right.
So, just kind of funny. Okay. These guys here are doing enfilade fire, and according to the standard rules, that means I increase their multiplier by 1, which would take it from ×4 to ×5. There's an optional rule that says that's ridiculous because it often doesn't benefit you at all, and instead you just move it over a column. Whatever. But if we just calculate it the standard way, that's going to be 4 increments times 5, so that's 20. And this is going to be 2 increments times 4 is going to be another 8. So it's going to be 28 to 10. It's going to be 2.5 to 1. I think on the fire chart there is a half column.
Yep, there is a 2.5 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Let's see. And the defenders number 6 increments, so there's no size benefit there. But anyway, it's 2.5 to 1, and you know, how often in life do you get a 2.5 to 1? It's just in time to roll another 11, and here we go.
Almost.
Well, not an 11, but not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. Wow, boy, what a big fat nothing that was. Okay.
Their flints were not properly positioned.
Well, frankly,
They
it looks to
didn't
me
get
like
us-
the guys
Didn't get a
the guys
spark.
in this hex here probably were all changing their underpants. From just hazard a guess.
There you go.
Just gonna
All those
say, so-
cannonballs rolling through? Is that, or the
Yes,
canister?
that's what I'm thinking. Shoot over there. These are the guys who are killing us. Oh yeah, whatever. All right. This next fire will be from here to here. It's going to be 4 increments. It's going to be ×2 at 2 hex range, so it's 8. So it's 1 to 1.5. It's a very big target. Size is 13, so that's going to be +15. So it's 1 to 1.5, but it is +15.
How'd that get so big?
Yeah, don't you wish somebody there was somewhere else? Probably. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see how this goes. Of course, if you roll another 28, doesn't freaking matter.
Oh, 95.
Or you
plus
can roll
15.
95, so +15, so that's what, 110?
Yep.
There is no 110, but it is still 2 increments. That's not a bad day's work.
Yeah.
All right.
There's going to
No
be less of a
morale check,
plus
but
next
that-
time.
Yeah. Oh, quel dommage.
There you
So
go.
yeah, so that's 2 increments off the top unit, and wipe that smile off their faces. All right, and then the next one will be this fella firing at this. Of course, his fire strength is halved, so we're definitely down in 1 to 3 land. So definitely what I'm aiming for is just the size of the target. I think the only difference is the fire strength is halved. So again, same thing. It's 4 increments ×2, so it's 8, which divided in 2 becomes 4. 4 to 10 is going to be 1 to 3. The target size is 15, I think. because it's 8 for the 2 increments of
Yep,
artillery,
yep.
and then 7 for the infantry, so that's 15, which I think is also plus 15. I think it's in the same space. It is. So give me 1 to 3 at plus 15. Kind of a wing and a prayer here, but you know, you always live in hope, even when it comes crashing down to earth on you. All right, so that was fire combat. That was a lot of fun. I think we'll all agree. Then there's some movement. Obviously, that routed unit is going to move in its own special way. The shaken and disordered unit. I'm sorry. I should have rolled for his disorder status. Excuse me. If I do this a little out of turn, I will go ahead and do that at plus 5. I'm not sure what his story is. Oh yeah, no, he's actually not that bad. So he is no longer shaken. Excuse me, no longer disordered. He is shaken instead. I don't know that he has any urgent need to move. Does he?
Maybe just get him out of the road.
Was he at 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had one increment left.
Yeah, that which is why, honestly, who cares?
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say get him off the road, except who cares? Because there's nobody else needs the road. So.
Well, this guy will, right? When he recovers next turn and starts coming up, throw him back in.
You remember how many turns are left in this game? Yeah, you're right. Okay,
We just
so
force march him.
He can do 1, 2, and get out the old fishing line and see if he can catch a carp.
There you go.
Except I guess that's 1.5, but whatever. That's plenty. He's not going to move anymore because he's out of command. 2 movement points was all he had. All right. Is anybody else going to move? That's really the big question. Does anybody else feel like moving? Let's see. No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody else feels like they need to move. I will go ahead and do 1 close combat. We'll try this here, because there's just not very many chances in life you get. Yeah, I'm actually not thrilled because attacking uphill is a problem, and we'll have to figure out how to calculate that in a minute. But in the meantime, in order to keep our vast viewing audience entertained, let's carry on. So, morale check here for those fellas. What is our current army morale? Is it plus?
We've got a plus 5. He's got a plus 3.
Okay, all right. So we'll do this at a plus 5 and hope that it's not completely disastrous. Not completely
they
disastrous.
are very, very excited.
They are indeed. Okay, so needless to say, we know who they're attacking. They're attacking both of these hexes, and so both of those hexes need to do morale checks.
Right. So we'll start over here.
Let's do a little quick check,
8.
though.
That's
sorry,
not
which
a
one
good
was
roll.
that?
That was the 7th 4.
Okay, yep, all right. So 0-8 on a, what is that, a B morale check? Which one is that? Pre-close combat, B. Yeah.
Back to the leader, the check is passed. If re-roll with a +5 ER modifier.
Okay, all right.
Plus 8.
Not too bad, really.
I'm at +8 now, right? And I still can't do it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
So he's shaken, right?
Shaken,
yes,
not stirred.
Be shaken, yes. Okay. Okay.
And now the other one.
So the other one would need to roll at a +10 because of being outflanked.
And then a plus 3 for the army morale. So what, a plus
That's
13?
right. So it's plus 13 all day for that guy.
And does he get for half or in there? Or
I'm sorry?
The top unit is half.
Oh dear, yes, that's going to be another plus 10. So what
Plus
is that, 23?
23.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Ooh, I don't think so. Not unless they're real good. Oh, they are real good. That is enough.
Oh,
Right? At
Yeah.
21 plus
It's
3.
21 plus 23. It's 44. You're in. Wow. Good.
All
Well
right.
done, you. So now this is where it's going to get a little bit complicated. And I don't really know why. I don't really. I'm trying to figure out what in the heck to do with this. Most of the time, when they do close combat modifiers on the terrain effects chart, they're pretty careful to set it up in such a way that it makes sense. You know, if you were. So here's the problem.
Okay.
Attacking up a slope is -2 to your combat value. Well, the trouble is only one of the two destination hexes is upslope.
Right.
So in other words, it's not adding to the defender. It's subtracting from the attacker, except in this case, it would make more sense if the defender got the benefit of being uphill, not the attacker getting the decrement. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So
Well, I mean, for the purposes of the combat, wouldn't you just do it that way?
do what? What way?
Well, where this guy gets a +2.
Well, we certainly could, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same. It's actually fascinating to me. I rarely catch them at something like this where I just really think that doesn't make much sense, boys. If I'm gonna calculate the combat value.
Well, I would kind of think the easy way, since you're going both of them, is to have that be
Oh, you just
-1.
split the difference, yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a fine solution. Whether it's exactly per the rules, I don't know, but let's do that. That's a fine solution. Okay. So, raw odds, I've got 12 increments. Raw odds, you've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, this guy's halved, right?
6.
Because he's shaken, or no?
No.
Oh, so he's
Disorder
got his
would
4.
have him.
Okay.
Right. So he is still 10 increments of defensive power. It's his combat value that's going to get
Okay.
screwed up by this.
Right. So he has
Okay.
10, and you've got what, 12? So
12.
12, right? So it's 1 to
1 to 1.
My top 4 increments are +4, and then Kleist is +3. Considering how badly his unit's activating, he's certainly a pretty good close combat commander. So I'm at +7, but -1 per our agreement, so I'm at +6.
Right.
Fair?
Okay.
Now, each of your hexes would get handled separately. Your top 4 increments are also at +4 in that hex that's being enfiladed. Some of them are from the top unit, some are from the bottom unit, but it's still +4.
Right.
It's going to be. Ooh, sorry, I take that back. Because being half dead reduces your combat value by half. So actually, the top 2 increments are only
plus
2s,
2.
not 4s, which makes a blended average of 3 for that hex.
3. Yeah.
Okay.
-3 for being attacked in the flank
So they're at 0.
makes it 0.
Okay.
The other hex is +3. They're not half dead, right? So
Nope.
just +3, and then -5 for shaken.
So,
So
minus
that's -2.
2.
So we have a 0 and a -2. You average them, you get to
-1.
-1.
Minus 1.
So you're
So
at
it's
1 to 1
plus
plus
1 to 1 plus 7.
6.
Yep.
7
1 to 1
or
plus
6.
7.
I thought you were.
He was 6, right? So he's 7 minus 1, right?
Right.
For the slope. So
Oh,
he was at
it's,
6, and
okay. I
then
thought it was
you add
6.
another one in because you guys are -1. So it's a
Right.
1-to-1 with
I
a
thought it was
plus
6
7.
-1, but yeah.
Yes.
Right now, 7 minus 1, then plus 1, effectively, because of, math. Okay, well, brilliant. Well, then 1-to-1 is the bad news, plus 7 is the good news. We'll see if I can make a
One
hash
to
out
one.
of it all the
Good
same.
news.
And the hash
Oh,
is, I intended to make a hash out of it just the same.
there you go.
Well done.
So
So that is 1-to-1 with a plus 1 result, which is an result. No big surprise there. So it is a regular result from the table. So I have to do the morale check first. Let's hope we don't F this up, but we shall see. I do. I F it up real good. Unbelievable. You bought yourself a heck of a lottery ticket today there, David. Because at plus 5 for Army morale, minus 5 for Kleist, 23 was the number I needed. I rolled a 17. So I will lose an increment off of the larger unit, which I'm just going to make it the bottom unit because they're the same size. And then I will route them after flipping them all over first. There we go. I thought I had flipped them all over. I guess I will do that one at a time then. There we go. And I will move him over here. And yeah, this guy is snake bit.
yeah, Kleist has not had much luck.
2, 3,
Yeah,
4.
He's had a little problem on that wing.
If it weren't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. That is the fact. So, yeah, David just caught a hell of a break there.
Now, do I get to move in there?
No. If you were cavalry, you would.
Okay.
But if you were infantry, you do not. And no pursuit either. Don't ask.
Definitely.
So that's it for Mr. Kleist, and really will be it for Mr. Kleist when he gets back to the king.
There you go.
You may think you're real good in close combat, but I beg to differ. So whose die roll is it? Is it your?
I think it's mine. Yep. Here we go.
Okay.
73. That's one for us,
That's a
and
wing
it's a
for
wing
us.
activation.
Although I think you've already started moving your cavalry wings.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if-
So
if-
it's not going to do me any good. But if you can use a wing activation up here
Actually,
by
that's
the Fletches,
an interesting question, because let's see who are. If I look at
I think it's Henry,
Who's that?
right? Heinrich,
Heinrich,
or
who's in charge of Manstein and my Veed,
right?
and those are Veed guys there. Okay. Yeah, that's a really interesting one. And that's another Veed guy there. Oh yeah, I could definitely use a wing activation. Totes. And he's in reach of the king, so he doesn't even need to ask Mother May I. And all of his guys are in reach of him. So again, no need for Mother May I. So let's carry on. So we're activating Prince Heinrich back here, which includes Manstein and Veed or Vide, and off we go. We've got disorder to recover from here, and trying to see if there's any other disorder recovery that's needed. I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Okay, all right, so that's good. Fire combat. The reason the wing activation is so sexy is because that means they can fire together and they can assault together and all that great stuff.
Exciting.
So, absolutely. So these are grenadiers here firing into this guy's flank. So they're going to be at a multiplier of times 6. So 4 increments times 6 is going to be 24. These guys, what did we decide, David? It was something really weird. It's like if you're adjacent, then you're not halved.
Yeah, that's what it said there in the rules for the field works.
Okay. So these guys are musketeers, so they're at times 4. So that's 4 times 4 is 16. So what it had 24 and 16 is 40. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, 40. Holy smokes! So 4-1. I don't know. I don't know. What do I feel like? Rolling 17, maybe.
I mean,
22?
are these guys activated back here?
No,
No, they're part of another
they're with a
wing.
different
Oh,
command.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
just to dogpile it a little more. You mean?
okay, yeah. So it's just this group here and this group here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Or
and
actually,
honestly,
that last one wasn't one that I did, but okay.
how often do you get 4-1? So
Yep,
I'm just gonna go
not
for
often.
it, right? 4-1. Kaboom! Yeah,
75.
that wasn't near as good as I wanted. I wanted an even number too, but whatever. I so greedy. All right, 75 is gonna be 3 increment losses.
Well, do you get a
That's all.
plus? Do you get a plus for firing it on the enfilade, or no? That's added to
Oh,
your
no, I did.
thing.
Well, I did actually. I went ahead and modified the
Okay.
fire
The multiplier.
the
Okay.
multiplier, which is how it got to 4-1. So effectively, I did get the column shift this time. The reason for the optional rule is just because a lot of times that isn't enough to move it an
Right.
entire column, and it's like, really, I'm hitting them in the flank and it doesn't give me anything. Seems wrong, right? So I kind of like the optional rule, but whatever. So 3 increments. That's a good time. And then we will see. Are there any other fire combat? I don't think there is any other fire combat. Doesn't look like it. All right. Then it's time for movement. And we will do movement like this. Sir?
Oh, no, I was turning the fan on here. I was getting a little,
Very good.
this was causing me to sweat a little bit. So.
That's brilliant. Just brilliant. I don't think I'm going to move any of those guys. I think I will just move some grenadiers because it seems like, yeah, some of those grenadiers have been somewhat attenuated, we might say, through the course of this action. What's the cost to cross these field works? Plus 1 if you're in line. Are these heavy field works? They are, aren't they?
These are, the big ones. These are heavy. The ones in front here.
Yeah, the ones that
Oh,
are
that's
further
right.
back are light.
These are light.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. All right. So it's actually plus 2 movement points to cross them.
Yep.
That's quite a strenuous cost there. Okay. Well, life goes on. All right. Well, I'm going to move him up just because I want to make it even less comfortable for those guys than it already is. And I'm going to move these guys forward as well. 1, 2, and that's going to cost him 3, 4, 5 to move there. And he'll have to do a disorder check, both for crossing the field works and for rapid march. So he's going to be at plus 10 on this disorder check. Comfortable with that. And then this one is going to move 1, 2. I'll just leave him there. So that'll be that. And I think that's going to be it for the movement. Except maybe we move the wing leader a little bit forward. I don't want to get him too far away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, yeah, he can't move very far. 2, 8, 9. Okay. All right. That should be right. Okay. So he's still in command with, or in communication with the king. That's lovely. It'll be time for close combat. You'll never guess, but we'll go ahead and do close combat here. Launched from this hex, and because the fire combat was so effective, I'm not even really sure if I want to add these guys. I don't think I will. So it'll just be this hex. I'll go ahead and roll for the morale check. The morale check will be +5 minus whatever the leader offers. Don't think I'll look it up. So then we got a defender morale check at +10 for being outflanked and plus another 3 for army morale, so it's +15. I would argue that the morale check modifiers for heavy field works don't really apply.
So it's a 13, so it's exactly 48.
Oh, well, that's a
Once
pass.
again, David is just as close as humanly possible.
Efficient. So efficient.
It's not going to waste a roll.
No, why would you? Why
Yeah.
would you? Okay, all right, well, very good. So I've got 9 increments total. You've got 4. Of course, there is no defensive fire because
You're not in my right.
Right. So it's 2-to-1 odds, 9-to-4, and so then if we flip things over, my top 4 increments are at +5. Then the leader adds another 2, so that's +7, +3 more. It's 10 for being in your flank, so that's 10. And then you are 2. So I think that's it. It's 2-to-1 plus 8. Okay. Nothing I can't beat, though. Nothing I can't whiff.
Well, that's going to be an 8.
Time.
So
you got to keep expectations low. I think that's the important thing in life.
So a 2-to-1, and it's an 8 is the result?
It is an 8, yeah.
So I see 1 loss for the attacker, 3 are for the defender.
Right. 1 loss for the attacker. That'll have to come from the upper unit because it's the larger one at the moment. No disorder for them.
Correct. There's just going to be, I think, one increment left on that poor chap. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty shot up now.
So I've really that way, right? And
yeah, you kind of have to go that way, or you lose your last increment.
Yep. And is it just hexes or movement points?
4
no,
hexes.
it's hexes, so it's 4.
Right. 2, 3, 4.
Yep. All right, I have to advance. I'm sorry, I just have to. I can adopt any facing I want, but I'm pretty happy with that facing. I'm really expecting this guy to come charging up and counterattacking now.
Oh, that's exactly what Ursul's going to do.
That was your cunning plan, wasn't it?
Yeah. Lure you forward.
Yep. Yeah. come into my web. All right. That was sufficient, I would say. And so then we will move on to the next die roll, which is
It's David's die roll. That's a tie.
Tie. Try again.
That's one
One
for
for you, and another advance of the time clock, so 1 Austrian activation.
All right.
There it is.
Interesting. What?
All right. Where?
Okay, if I do weed
Uh-huh.
and during my movement, can this guy move into here and then turn to match facing?
Sure, as long as he's got movement points enough. I don't know why he couldn't.
Yeah, because it's going to cost him 2 to move there, right? Because he's going down a
Right.
slope, and then you
Right.
turn. That's 3. He's got enough movement. Yeah, should work.
Right?
Unless there's a carp pond there.
I don't think there are.
The Austrians know where they're at.
I mean, I'll get some free shots at you, but obviously I'm disordered, so I'm only going to fire with 2 increments.
Right. And let's see. Interesting.
Veed strikes back.
I might. I'm toying with the idea here.
Oh no, actually,
He's shaken and disordered. I don't know why this would be like the
Yeah.
perfect time, and then you
yeah,
that whole line is unhinged. And you don't have to worry
exactly.
about him attacking down
The-
that
the
side
lead-
much anymore. By the time he gets
Nope.
everybody back, yeah, it's the game's
Yeah.
over.
I would absolutely have to have something very attractive somewhere else on the field, not to be thinking I'd be doing that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go for that. So,
All right.
so first see if he was activated. That is not.
No,
Nope.
he certainly isn't.
Which means
but
what?
Well, it means no rapid march. It means
They
Yeah,
can't
it's
launch
still a-
close contact. Can they launch close
no,
combat?
no, careful, because that's the difference between the command leader being out of command and an actual unit being out of command from its own leader.
Oh, okay.
And that's it's a subtle difference, but it's an important one to make the distinction. So 7.6C is what happens when a leader is not in command.
Right.
And that means that the units in his command may not perform rapid march. They may not enter an enemy zone of control unless it began its movement segment already adjacent to the enemy zone of control and has sufficient movement points to enter a hex. This one move into the EZOC is the only action it can perform in its movement segment. That's interesting.
So can you move into an enemy?
Well, oh no, yeah, but that is what it's saying. The thing I'm struggling with here a little bit is we just talked about how he's absolutely entitled under normal circumstances to enter the zone of control and then make a facing change. But now I'm questioning whether actually he can do that, because basically what this just said is the move into the zone of control is all you can do. So let's see what the next paragraph says. A unit that begins its movement segment already in an EZOC can make a facing or formation change in the EZOC or exit 1 hex out of the EZOC if it has sufficient movement points to do so, and if so, that's all it can do. Okay. Boy, I gotta tell you, the way I read that, it looks like maybe you can't.
But the way I read it, I can move him in there, and I can then change the facing of the other unit.
Oh yes, yes, you certainly could do that. So or
Right. You would
actually
turn you'd turn
probably
these
to
guys
move.
first,
You
right?
got to move them first, actually.
And then you
Yeah,
would move this guy in next, right?
right.
And then
Because
they'd
by
have
the end
matching
of a
facings.
by the end of a unit's movement, it has to conform to whatever hex
Right.
it's in. So then they would have to turn first in order to accommodate the guys moving in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that works.
So we will continue with that. All right. So first is disorder checks, and
Yep.
we got a disorder, and that's
Got a free
automatic.
one there.
That one's a free one. And let's see, that's no, that's there we go. So he's just shaking now. All right. So this guy is going to move there. So you get a
Right.
shot.
I get a shot, and that's going to be at 2 strength points can fire times 4, so it's going to be 8. So it's going to be 1 to 1.5. No size modifier. It's just going to be 1 to 1.5. Nothing fancy. Well, that's not going to be enough for a hit. All right.
All right. Now, how much do you have in there? In that you've got 3 and 4. You've got 7 in
There's
there,
7
right?
left, yeah.
And I've got 6 in there, so if I come in with the 8, that's, yeah, all right, so I'm just going to move the 8, yeah. All right, so as I leave that hex, you get, again, a halved and halved.
Right, so it's only 1 increment that gets to fire, so it's really 1 to 3. The only thing is it's 1
Well,
to 3 with
wouldn't this guy shoot at him as he's moving?
Oh, yeah, he gets it, yeah, he's,
Because isn't he within 2? Yeah.
You're exactly right. So really,
Okay.
I get 5 increments times 2. So it's actually 1 to 1.
1 to 1.
1 to 1.
Wait, well, let me, before you roll that, let me think this, because
Yep.
1 to 1, there's a fair chance that I'm going to lose an increment. So I'm going to move everybody.
Okay. Yep. Sure. All right. So it's going to be 1 to 1, and it's going to be 1 to 1 plus 10 for size.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and shoot 1 for 1. Here we go. Bang. That is enough for a hit, and a morale check, and a disorder check.
All right. So
It's going to be 1 off the top unit. So that's actually the. Wait a minute. Yeah.
yeah,
What-
he was the top. The
Yeah,
eight.
the little
Yeah,
5 guy.
understood. What was he already at 3 increments down,
No.
or was he at 2?
He had 2. He was at 2.
Okay. All right. So he's at 3 now, and then you need to undertake a disorder check.
All right. Disorder check. Okay, that's good. And morale check. And that's good. All right.
All
so
right.
they will complete their. Oops.
Could you make this more chaotic?
Yeah. Now, let's see. Now, at the end of the movement, I can possibly change movements or stacking order, right?
Yeah. We talked about that before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Am I over? Am I going to be over?
No, you're not. You're exactly at the limit.
Which is 16, I believe, right?
Yeah. And you're welcome that I killed that 1 strength point.
Yes.
What would have happened if it was overstacked?
6.
You would just have to move back or make a
We'd have
massive
probably-
morale
we'd have-
check or
we'd have
something.
Probably made him move back. I'm not sure what the rules say.
Okay.
All right.
Uh,
So,
have to look under stacking.
who do I want on top? Now the guy on that, but he's going to have a -5 because he's over half. So it really 26, 27. I guess I'm best with the guy that's on top of this stack right now is going to remain, even though with the -5, I'm still at the best I'm going to get, because the other is 27. Is that correct? Am I?
So it's a
Okay.
plus 10 for being half dead, not plus 5.
If it's plus 10, then no.
It's
Then
plus
I
10.
will.
It's plus 10
Then
for
I
being
will,
half dead.
right. Then I will bring this 27 to the top of the stack.
Well, and remember, in terms of calculating your combat value in the close combat, assuming we even get that far, it's the top 4 increments CV that matters. So that's another good reason to have a full strength unit up on top, because a half dead unit would be reduced.
Right.
So for a lot of reasons, that's
There we
probably
go.
the right
Okay.
move. Okay. All right.
So
So you've got 16 increments and you got plus 4 on top.
And
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And the last thing, let's see what else in my movement here. I'm going to move my commander
Mm-hmm.
and join. Go for the glory.
Mm-hmm.
And
What's his name?
the
Topritzhofer?
yeah, and
There you go.
and the shaken ones can move too.
Correct.
No, they can move their full movement. It's disordered that's halved.
Oh. One, two, three. Whoops.
Well, no, that's not 3 for you.
Right, because you can't side slip like that.
You can't do the oblique
Oh,
marching
that's
like
right.
my guys can. So
that's
actually,
go
yeah. So
one,
1,
and
2,
then
3. If you go one more,
3.
okay.
So I want to go one more. I can still. Yeah, let's go one. Get him up there. Okay. All right, and then we'll see if I can have a close combat any better than Kleist here.
Survey
Yeah.
says.
Let's see. Maybe there's like an Indian burial ground underneath this part of the field.
So we got 16 to 7, huh? So we're at 2 to 1.
Well, you do need to.
Well, you have to
roll
make your
for
morale check
morale
first.
check first.
Grab morale check first, and I've got. Oh yes.
Good enough. Good enough. All right. Now I need to do my morale check. My morale check is going to be at plus 30. It's going to be plus 10 for top unit is half dead. It's going to be plus another 15, so plus 25, including the shaken and disordered, and then plus 5 another. So it's going to be plus 30 altogether for that. So that's why I say if we ever get to the close combat segment, because we may not. In fact, we don't.
Yep, they're going to bug out.
So we're going to lose an increment off of the bigger unit. And then we're going to move that to route. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, just so we don't have to figure out the effect of the walled church. And then you can do advance after combat because the hex was emptied.
Right.
Because of a failed defender morale check, and you're not in an enemy zone of control, so you can adopt any facing you like when you've entered the hex. And this is probably when we find Kleist getting a job as a dishwasher somewhere.
There you go. David strikes back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. And so let's see.
It's funny the
Exact.
story of two sides of a pond.
Yep, yep. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was the best of carp. It was the worst of carp.
Carpe diem.
Yes, indeed. A fish a day will keep the doctor away.
Seize the carp.
All right. And that should be the end of that. Sure.
Believe so.
Well, gentlemen, we're coming up on 2 hours of play. Do you want to keep poking away a little bit more, or do you want to put a pin in it here?
Well, that's a good question. We certainly are in no danger of finishing the turn tonight.
That is a mild understatement.
Thank you. I like to think that that's how I roll.
Yeah.
I,
So
I,
it's up to you guys. I know you guys are in a different time zone.
yeah, I mean, I'd be fine going a little longer, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, I'm fine with that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Let's
right.
do some more. Let's throw some dice.
See,
I think it's back around to you now, Michael.
my die roll again? Okay,
Yeah.
very good. We'll throw those dice and we will move the end turn marker one more time, this time with feeling.
And another one for you.
Yep.
And
Another one for the
one
Prussians.
for the Prussians. So, all right then. It's just an individual.
Correct.
And just trying to see. I don't. I'm trying to think about like urgency, and I mean there are things I absolutely need to do. I don't know that they're urgent because I don't know that the enemy's going to get another activation in my area. So, I don't know if there's something you feel like you need to do.
I don't have anything terribly pressing. I mean, unless you want me to try to do something with these grenadiers, in which case, which way do you want me to send the grenadiers?
Yeah,
Towards the guns or towards his cavalry,
the
or
only other thing I was thinking you'd do is just get the other light cavalry command positioned,
yep, I can definitely do that.
because just to, I mean, first of all, to guard your flank, because
Yep,
obviously he's got some heavy cavalry over there that could threaten the flank, and so it just seems like you'd want to have guys better positioned for that, and that really is more time sensitive because after all, he could still react down there.
Okay, then why don't we go ahead and do that? So we can move Mr. Nordstream here, Norman, and let's roll for him. And he is in command because he's that good.
It's just that good.
Indeed,
We
it's
got
good to
one
be.
unit that is out of command.
Yep, this guy out here is out of command. So
Everybody
he can
else
only
is-
move half, and he can't. Can he
and he
initiate a
can't
charge?
rapid
No, he cannot initiate a charge, right?
mm, I don't know that he can. He could definitely op charge. He could definitely counter charge.
He can't reach anybody anyway.
He can't
where
reach
things
anybody,
are
but it's a
anybody.
fair
Yeah.
question.
So
I don't know why I feel like I.
1, 2, 3. That's as far as he can go. Unless we round up or round down.
It's 4 that he can do.
Okay, good. We'll push him another one then. All right. Let's go ahead and get these other chaps sorted out. So,
I mean, he could have gotten into charge distance of this if you.
well,
were to
that's what
concern.
I would have liked to have done if it is possible.
Only in command activated units are eligible to initiate close combat attacks. That sounds
Okay,
to me.
that sounds like
Yep.
to me he's out of luck.
That's
However,
pretty
it's
definitive.
it's not relevant for close combat that results from a successful opportunity charge. So in other words, you can't do an offensive charge, but you could countercharge or you could op charge.
Right. Okay. Um, what's left? This guy's the only poor little sod who's left over there, isn't he?
Yeah, there's another routed one a little
Yeah,
further
no,
away.
I'm not really worried about him at the moment. So let's go ahead and I can, and my charge radius I think was 4, right?
I think yours is 4, yes.
Yeah, so this guy here is going to turn. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 to get there, right? I think I'm doing this right. Okay, cool. Then this chap is going to move up. Let's see here. All right, these guys will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's see. I think 6 gets us, 5 gets us there, right? Yeah. I just hate the way the hexes are lined up. 1, 2. So he's got to turn 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that's. I'm just trying to get everybody lined up. 6 and then 7. I guess it goes that way, right? All right, and the guy that is shaken down here, and he's facing that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and he can turn 5, 6, 7. Gets him there, I think, right? Yeah.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And I'll put him here, and then maybe he can help those guys recover. All right. This guy's going to try to do a charge.
Yep.
So let me go ahead and roll, see if he does it.
Well, that's a special result.
Special results. I'm good at those.
Yes, well,
And
0-2
that
on
should be my middle
pre-melee
name.
morale check. Unfortunately, 0-2 isn't great. Re-roll with a +15 modifier.
All right. Here we go. Oh, we're happy. All right.
So false alarm.
False alarm at least. Yes. Somebody, it's like F troop situation there.
Yes.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's not a surprise he is the target of our charge.
I think so. The defender needs to make a morale check.
And he
fails miserably and routs after losing an increment. Or does he? I don't think he does, because we haven't actually gotten
we do
to combat
pursuit
yet. I think
there, right?
He just routs, if memory serves, from pre-melee morale check. Double checking. Yes, that's right. He just routs. He does not lose an increment. He just routs and moves 6 hexes to the rear, thinking about a cellar somewhere in Prague.
All right, and so then now I get to roll for my pursuit points, and I roll 1.
Well, you advance into the hex and adopt the facing to following.
Okay, which is this way, I guess.
Yes, and then you roll for pursuit points.
And I rolled a 1.
Well played.
Yep. So chisel off another guy, and I will then advance 1 hex,
there
right?
You go. Yeah. And
then I make a morale check or see if I'm disordered.
Check. Roll, do a recall at +5.
I roll off 53. I'm fine.
No problem. Okay. Well. That 1 strength point is going to be the difference between us winning and losing. So that was absolutely worth it.
All right, and that does it then for this brilliant leader and his less than brilliant troops. But okay, machinations of fate, baby.
Absolutely, that's a fact. So
okay.
Is it your initiative roll?
Yeah, if you just rolled, it's mine then. Here we go.
I think it was mine.
37. That's one for the Austrians.
One for the bad guys.
One for me, huh? All right, what's looking at me? And let's go for Hohenzollern now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The big
Little
Hohenzollern.
heavy cavalry action.
A little heavy cavalry action. Let's see. He is okay. So he is right there.
Yep.
All right. All right.
Probably needs to
Yep.
put himself in command on general principles.
Not today.
That would be no.
So basically no extended
No.
or but
No rapid marching, since it's a cavalry command. The EZOC limitation usually doesn't mean much. I mean, I guess if this guy were part of that command, and of course he isn't, he would be limited in the sense that he would be limited by that same thing, that if he moves out of the EZOC, that's all he can do. But that doesn't apply because none of his guys are in EZOCs.
right. All right. So let's see where that's SP. All right. So this is one of his back there, right?
Yep, looks like it.
Okay. So I'll do a disorder check for him. Nope.
No,
Not today.
too much.
All right. First, I'm going to take this guy here, and he's going to move right there. Do you want to? You can't. That's right. You're in my EZOC, so you can't.
Yep.
No, he can't do nothing.
And then this guy here is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is going to go.
Now hold on. Any of that movement could have prompted an op charge from here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So do you mind moving him back so we can reassess?
So here.
Well, I mean, to be clear, that guy's movement could have prompted an op charge.
Yeah.
Right?
I asked. Yeah.
Well, I just so we're all clear.
Yep. We'll go.
I mean, since we had 18 discussions about when you can and when you can't op charge, it seemed only fair.
Okay. So my first move is this guy here.
Right, and so he's moving there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You
And so-
can, but you are certainly under no obligation to op charge.
Right. So
Obviously,
I don't
if you do
necessarily.
op charge, then you're attacking this guy in the flank, and then this guy over here is probably going to attack you in the flank. But whatever,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
you do you.
So go ahead, move the
charge
next
the-
one, David.
All right.
There.
1,
And now
2,
3.
3. Again, op charge if you feel like it. Probably not, but you're
Yeah.
welcome to if you want.
And there.
Okay.
Okay. And again, you could upcharge at this point because he just moved. And obviously, the only good news is you'd be hitting him in the flank, but now it's a really big stack. So again, you might not choose to. So, all right. Anything else, David?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hmm?
All right.
Right, here comes the steam train.
Shaken and disordered guys can move half.
Yeah. There. We can go in. Yeah, let's go. 1, 2, 3. All right.
I'm sorry, how much did you move?
He moved a little too far. He should have been right there, David.
That's what I thought, because you had to turn one to do that,
Yeah.
right? There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
You can move 4, right?
No, 3.
No,
'cause
he's
it's half.
halved.
He's only got a movement of 6.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm sorry. No, but then, okay, so he would only been there to there, right? Because I think he started right here.
Yeah.
Okay, well then 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
If that's where he was, yeah.
He was facing actually. So let's. All right. So he's here.
Well, actually, you know what? If we just look back, his first movement was from 37.15 to 38.15, which means he was here to start. So if he turns 1,
Well,
he can move.
does the turn show up?
No.
I don't know, does it?
Or
I don't think it does. I think only the movement does.
so that was where he started. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why we thought just right there is where he would
Yeah.
end up.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's see if. All right. Let's see if I can charge with these guys. So I can
Roll another 10. Make me laugh.
Yeah, it could. We could do that.
Yeah.
30. Yeah, I think they'll be all
That's
right.
probably going to be good enough for those
Hope
guys.
it is, yeah.
Because you got a +3,
yeah.
-3. Yeah.
23, yeah, all good. All righty.
So they're going to go. Boom. 1, 2, 3. This
All
is
right. Well,
target
before
of
you
my
get
charge.
that far, I can
Okay.
countercharge you, right?
Well,
Well,
not
no.
there.
Actually, no, because of that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure which way you went. You hadn't
No,
moved them hex by
exactly, yeah.
hex. So,
By going 1, 2 right that way, there's nothing to countercharge into.
okay. Go ahead. Bring your guy up.
So bring it into 3. All right. And then
Right. Now I need to make a morale check, correct?
That's correct. Absolutely.
And I'm very happy.
Yes, indeed. All right. So it looks like our raw odds are 3 to 1.
And your officer counteracts your -5 and or +5.
Yeah.
And counteracts
Isn't
mine
that funny?
+3.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So what are your combat values there, David? +4s. So you got +5,
+5.
+6, 7, 8.
And I've got a +6. So the net is a +2, it looks like, right?
That is correct. 3 to 1 +2.
Oh, okay. That's because the officer is +1. Yeah, +2.
Yep.
3 to 1 +2. All right.
Mhm.
Let's see what we do here. Oh, yes.
So that's
Well,
going to
plus,
be
That's not what you wanted.
No, it's not.
yeah.
what I
So it's
want.
going to be a
It's going to be a
net of a
-2.
So it's
Right.
altogether, it's a 4 from me, -2. So it's a -2, a 3-1, so it's an MM.
Looked like it.
Okay. All right, so he rolls first, is that correct?
The attacker rolls first.
Okay.
Where's my cursor? There it is. Oh,
Oh.
that's
I
not
think you're
enough.
about to be the cursor, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep. Their morale is 23, 25. Yeah, they're going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
They're all going to rout.
Oh
Woo!
my gosh. Oh.
Turnabout is fair
Well,
play.
I was going to say, if it hadn't just happened to me, I'd feel really bad about that.
All right. Well,
Oh
that
my
didn't
gosh.
work. That sucks.
No, that seemed like a cunning plan, didn't it?
That wasn't
Kleist is
unlike.
going to tell the king as he goes running past.
All right. So now I roll pursuit points. Is that correct?
Well, okay. So let's just be,
Or
be
whatever,
sure, 'cause I'm not
however it
sure.
works.
I
Do I advance
wanna make-
into the hex?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I was just going to check. If, as a result of close combat, attacking units vacate the front hex of defending cavalry in line or attack column formation, at least one defending cavalry unit must advance to occupy the vacated front hex. Defending cavalry that is attacked solely through its... Yeah, okay, so that doesn't matter.
All right.
So, yes.
And then I change facing to face the way that he went, or what?
Well, hold on there.
I mean, I don't know. It's you know the rules.
No.
It's not me.
I know that's what I'm. That's what
Well,
I'm just
and actually, in that case, I would have gone that hex first.
Well, except I don't know. Oh, because you're not in someone else's zone of control. That was the part I was trying to make sure I had figured out. Oh, even if it is in an Ezok. Okay. Yep. Yes. So, yes, you would need to face in the direction, and well, but that direction, yeah, that works.
Right. I mean,
Well, and honestly, really, remember, retreats are supposed to be in a straight line. Now, obviously, we also appreciate that a straight line, that's a straight line, right?
Well,
Right.
my thought would have been I would end up here because that would be the straight line back,
Yeah. Okay.
and then
So,
I could go either one.
Yeah.
Right. But so regardless, you end up having to face due west.
correct.
So, all right. And now, yeah, you'd roll pursuit points.
And I roll 2.
So go.
So if I do that, it's going to grind up 2, but then I need to advance 2 hexes, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really happy about that idea.
No, it's
Considering he's got
well,
so much stuff
especially
still.
because if you'd gotten a big number, then you could have done free movement to get yourself out of an awkward position. But with only 2 movement or with only 2 pursuit points, there's not a lot you can do.
Well, could I do 1 and then I could move back?
Well,
Or I'd
could
still
only
have to
turn.
turn or whatever,
no,
right?
because, yeah, I mean, I was going to say you
Yeah.
could use free movement to turn, like so you could move 1, recall, and then spend the additional now free movement point to turn. Of course, you could turn in any direction you want, so you could put the marsh at your ass
Right.
and be facing south, so that's less horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he could still get you. He's just going to have to work harder for it.
Yeah. No, I think I'm okay where I'm at the moment because he can't. This guy's already moved. He can't put
Yes.
somebody in that hex facing into my flank.
No,
So I'm safe
at
there.
least for
I
the
will
moment,
just.
you're all right. Yeah.
Yeah. I
All
will
right.
just.
Well, then just recall with no modifier. Then.
All right, and I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Well, best laid plans.
Yeah. Oh well.
And there was nothing wrong with the plan, by the way. It was one of the best laid plans. So, all right. And was that your role, David, or was that your role?
That was
Eric? I'm
my
sorry.
role. So now we're
Oh,
over
so
to
Eric,
David.
David, then it's yours.
That's one for
Okay.
us.
That
One
is
for you.
one for the good guys. You have done some of your cavalry. You still have cavalry
I
with
still have, yeah, I still have this guy down here, Prince
right, and
Heinrich, or the
he's
Prince.
done most of those.
Yeah. So
Most
he's
of
got
those
what's left of
guys.
the heavies.
Right. Don't know if you feel the need to do anything with them. You're
Don't
welcome.
need to do anything. So if you want to do
Okay.
something with your boys, I'd say
Yeah, I
knock yourself out.
think we probably should.
You still have a couple of people up north that you could
Oh,
work with.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm
Conacher and
thinking.
others. Yeah.
So yes, that's what I'm thinking needs doing. All right. I guess I will do Brandes here,
Okay.
and we'll go ahead and let's see. I'll go ahead and activate these 12 pounders that are right behind him. And I think that will be it. Well, of course, I'll activate the artillery that's stacked with him as well. So we will do that. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that's going to be it. No disorder to recover from. And everybody's in command, so that's that. We'll do fire combat. The only fire combat would be the one increment of howitzers if he decided to fire. I guess I don't know what the hell to do with him.
Roll them forward and blow up the caissons.
Nice.
Suicide howitzers there.
Is that like a suicide blonde?
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. Wow.
Oh, and David, you forgot to mark a loss on that stack of cavalry. One of them's got to take a hit, right?
Yep.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Boy, there's just. I mean, what is the point? I mean, I guess I'll fire just because. What difference does it make? No, I don't want to fire. Okay. All right. So no firing. There is no firing in baseball. And so we will.
Can I choose any of the units in there?
Any of the
I think
units,
they're
yeah,
all
'cause
the
they're
same
all
size, yeah.
they're all equal size, so you
Well,
can pick anyone you want. And usually, I end up picking the one on the bottom if there's not a good reason to
Right.
choose otherwise.
So that, yeah, because he's a little, not quite as good.
All right, then let's do some moving, and the moving is going to look a little bit like this. That is 1, and then that's 2, 3, and that is 1, 2, and he's going to need to do a disorder check for line backup, and
don't
this
know.
guy can
Gets a
get
shot
an
at-
up fire shot at him.
At a
So,
range of 3?
the howitzers can.
Oh, okay.
They can do op fire within their minimum.
Oh, okay. So artillery's got that range of 3 thing.
That's
Okay.
right, exactly.
That's
So,
Dick?
Just roll the dice, Dave, and then we'll figure it out.
well, it's a special result for sure. So that is an artillery fire special result of 4, which is wild fire. A stack adjacent to the target becomes the new target, which is amusing. I'm trying to figure out. It would need to be a stack that is in your firing arc, and it needs to be adjacent.
So it would be adjacent to this hex. So
Right.
Right. So I feel like that's the only one it could be.
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, the other
So
guys.
that's
Yeah.
4 and 4, that's 8, so it's plus 10 for size.
So just roll again.
Yep.
all right. So we roll again.
No.
I don't think that's going to do it. All right. Did I roll the disorder check yet?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. I had. All right. I'm going to assume that's good enough because they're not very good, but better than that. All right. Then these guys will do the same. They're going to do this. And these guys are all going to back up. And because they left out of that hex, both of these guys can fire at him as he backs away.
And if I remember, wasn't that 2-1?
Just roll the
Uh,
dice first and
yep.
see if it's
Yeah, it
anything
was.
worth looking up.
And it's plus 18, I think. 2-1.
Yes, it was last time. So 58 at 2-1, probably enough for a hit. 58 is going to be enough for
one hit.
Yeah.
And the morale
And
check.
a disorder check. Which they possibly have failed. Don't really know yet. Looks like they might have failed.
Well, what's Brandis
although
add?
it's not modified though. It's just a disorder check. So actually that is a success. And
Okay.
then a morale check because it was an even number.
Yeah.
And so we'll do a morale check as well. That's going to be shaken and disordered, I believe. We'll check under morale check special results for fire combat result. If artillery fire contributed to the fire combat result, the unit routs. Wow, that's even worse. Okay. So that means that this guy goes to the graveyard.
The howitzers do, right?
I do.
Okay.
Graveyard with him. These guys go to routed status and head back 4.
Now, does the
wait a minute,
does the
no.
leader have
Wait a
to?
minute.
What's that?
Well, he does. He was stacked with them.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have to stay with them, but
The
But
initial
he-
route move he has to go.
Okay.
in the initial route move. So actually, that would be from that hex. So it's
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4 there. Okay. All right, and then this guy will back up 1 as well, and I think the howitzers are the only ones who get a shot at him. So it's going to be 1 to 3, I guess. So roll another op fire. It's not going to be enough at 1 to 3 to do anything. I'll roll a disorder check for him. he's okay. All right. Um, Probably not exactly the move I had in mind, but that's life. So, okay, that's it. And is it back to my initiative roll?
I think so.
Yep.
All right. Another big one, a wing for the Austrians.
Well,
Wasn't expecting to hit it rich.
Well, if we're going to roll to help the Austrians, we're going to roll to help the Austrians, Michael.
By golly, by gum.
Exactly. Come on. We got to give them every advantage humanly possible.
so if I do have a cavalry wing down there. Which one is my wing?
That is a good question.
Well, isn't it Lucchese?
He's the wing commander. Yes, I'm trying to figure out who the units are. Which one? It's SP.
Oh, who's in the wing?
Who's in the wing?
So Spada is and Altman is.
Ah, but not Hohenzollern.
No.
Not whole.
So
Okay.
so Spada is over here, and
He's not in range.
Altman.
Not in range, yeah.
I think this is the
Altman's
replacement for
probably this
Altman
guy
here,
here, yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you really can't do it.
No, here's
wings.
Altman is right here. Altman's right here.
Oh, well then who the hell is this guy?
That's AG, whoever he is.
Oh, AG, that's right. Yep. Whatever his name is. Nobody
Yeah.
remembers his name. He's dead.
Argento.
Okay.
Argento or something.
Buried in a silver-lined
Yeah.
coffin. Befitting, isn't it? Yeah, so it's kind of tough to make a Great Wing activation out of that since Spada couldn't participate.
All right.
On the other hand, you may not have another wing that really stirs your soup.
Well, I can do the whole infantry wing.
You
Right?
could do Koenigsegg, right?
Yeah, I mean, to the extent Koenigsegg can reach his guys.
Oh, yeah. Koenigsegg is with Ursel, Campanetti, Stolberg.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of his guys have already gone.
Right,
On the other hand-
Stolberg's gone, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am just going to do. think Spada.
All right. Spada is on.
Why
the move.
not?
All right. So let's see. Where is all of Spada here? Okay. This is Spada. Two of them there. Two of them there. We got two of them there. Now, I know there's a difference between just having a enemy unit in your flank versus having the enemy unit
Facing you.
facing you.
Yes. And the difference is that the mere presence of an enemy unit influences the defender morale check. But unless you're facing the enemy, then you don't cause a change to the actual close combat by an enfilade die roll modifier. If you are in somebody's flank and facing them, well, then you do both. But that's the difference.
All right. So, all this, I think I'm going to do Spada. And going to. All right, so man check. I haven't passed one of those yet, have I? So,
No.
and this is Spada also over here. So he's shaking. All right, he's in command. Everybody's in command. Boy.
Looks like he's circling the wagons there, Eric.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to take one of these guys here. Yeah. And they are going to go. One. Yeah. All right. So. All right. I didn't have any disorder checks on that, right? Okay. All right. So this guy here is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right.
6. And you can do a opportunity if you'd like.
Why would I do that?
Okay.
Put myself in danger.
And this one here is 1, 2, 3. Is that a disorder check over the?
Nope, the streams are nothing.
Yeah, it's the marsh that gets you. It's not the stream.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Stream only affects you if you're charging. So in fact, he actually was only spending 1 movement point on each of those.
But he went down
Well, the first
the
one was
slope.
downhill.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
And let's see. All right. That would
Okay.
All right.
so,
Exciting stuff.
Well, it's your role, Eric.
Yep, here we go. That's another one for the Austrians, but it doesn't move the clock.
No.
all right. I will do. Uh, let's see. G, G.
You've got AG facing one way and another way.
Well, I mean, they are kind of holding the corner down.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. I've lost two of those. So, all right. Uh, yeah. Okay. This guy here. Go.
Well, roll to see if he's in command. You might surprise yourself.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, he is. Yay!
Well, you can count that as a moral victory.
There you go.
Charge.
So who are you activating anyway? Is it AG?
He's AG, I think. Yep.
This guy.
Okay.
Rinaldi. Rinaldi is his replacement.
Oh, very nice name.
There you go. It's a good Italian name.
Seems like.
Let's have some pasta primavera.
Maybe you could drink a Peroni.
Yes. And for dessert, a delicious Hanukkah, right?
Sure, why not?
That open? Yes, that's open. Dang.
You're in what we call a pickle.
And a pickle.
Best option,
All right.
retire towards Prague.
Yeah. Go on. Okay. like to be there at that position, but I can't get there. Can't get there from here.
That's a shame. All roads lead to Rome. Why don't you go there?
Uh, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There you go. He's got his little heavy cavalry hedgehog.
Trying.
It reminds me of the pathetic left flank I was in charge of on the Austrian left at Leuthen.
Mm.
I eventually was reduced to a hedgehog.
There you go.
I'd like to be back here, but I couldn't. Not enough movement points. Well, actually, I could have done force, but then I'd have to worry about the thing. But okay. All right. I guess it's my role then, huh?
Yep.
That's one for
75.
you,
That's
or
one
what
for
do you do?
us. And it moves the clock.
Moves the clock. Oh no! All right. Need
All right,
anything?
Michael. No, I'm fine. I
Okay.
mean, I've got the one heavy cavalry, but it's not any position where I have to worry about it for the moment. And
Right.
so just
Okay.
whatever you need to do. You've
All
still
right.
got
Well,
Conacher
I
and a few
guess,
other people to mull around.
I guess we're gonna do. Yeah, Conacher. We'll go ahead and move him next, and 2, 3. Okay. Yep. All right. So we'll do him. He's right there, just in case you're wondering. He is in command, and he's got one unit back here that is shaken. So I'll roll to unshake him.
Or undisordered,
Disorder.
actually.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Yes, of course. And he fails miserably, but fine. Okay. All right, then we will go ahead and no fire combat. There's no fire combat to do. We'll go ahead and go to movement, and he will move 1, 2, 3, 4. He will roll for a disorder check for moving through the woods. It's going to be close. Nope, he makes it.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll take a chance here. I'll go ahead and do one, 2, 3, 4. He'll roll a disorder check for crossing the earthworks. Special result. Disorder special result. Movement action 09. If the unit's printed ER is 36, reroll with a +5. Otherwise, with a -5. I bet he's better than that, but let's see. Oh, he's a lot better than that. So re-rolling at a -5, he's fine. Okay. And do I feel like moving this other guy? I don't know. Part of me's slightly tempted, but I don't think I see that much point to it. So I don't think I will. So I think that's all of his guys, right? Because
Yeah,
everybody
he's
else
only
is
got, I think, 4.
convicts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine, but that's good because we moved ahead.
Exactly.
all
It's
about.
progress.
En avant.
All right, gentlemen, do we want to call it here or keep pressing on for another roll?
I think we could call it here very easily.
Okay,
Or-
then I will save this.
Indeed.
Yep. And this is part way through. So Prague.
And no 0-0.
Well, we did have a 0-0, but it was for his morale check. Remember the one where
Yep.
your unit?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Still no 0-0s though
Yeah.
for army morale checks, and I mean there's still time, but we are going a long time without it.
Yeah. So I mean, we did get one of those rolls, but just not not in
Not
the
at
right
right
context. Yeah.